Hi, my name's Krista, and I just want to tell the story. I'm going to tell it in pieces because there's so much here to unpack. And it's not just my story, it's everybody's story. And the scary part about that is you're not going to know until you find yourself in my situation. Our legal system is very difficult to navigate, and this just needs to be out there. The first thing I want to say, because this does involve elder abuse, is check on your elders. If you have family members or people in your family that are living on their life savings, or they have properties or anything, even if they don't, just check on them. Make sure they're in good hands. Make sure they're not being taken advantage of, because they are our most vulnerable population. And this was a predatory loan against the property. So my dad passed away in 2020, and he was 90, had a great life. My stepmom passed away in 2023, at which time I found out that there was a reverse mortgage against the family property. This was shocking, ton of emotions that you go through trying to figure out, how did this happen? Why didn't I know about it? I went through, drawers and paperwork that were existing at the property when this all first came out. And first thing I noticed was those were not my dad's signatures on the loan documents. Even though they were notarized, my dad did not sign those. So I took a picture, sent it over to the trustee, and she didn't want to deal with it. Nobody wants to stand up to the banks, and nobody, is in this for the justice of it. So because she's trustee, there's not a whole lot I can do as beneficiary, except for keep doing what I'm doing. So it took me about a year to find a document examiner and have them look at my dad's signatures. And I will tell you, if you ever find yourself in this situation, go to the county clerk recorder's office. You want the most official, known signatures you can possibly provide them, because at some point it will matter. So predictably, the document examiner came back that those were conclusively not my father's signatures. So we're just going to start with the fact that there are forged signatures on a loan document, which make it void. And what void means is it never attaches, because if it's not properly signed and the signatures are forged, that just means that it's not legally enforceable. So we'll just start there. Reverse mortgages, and if you don't know, anybody over the age of 65, if you own your property outright, or not your property, but your home, it has to qualify. You're able to basically get an open line of credit to a certain amount based on the appraisal that you get to live off of for the rest of your life, under the understanding that the bank is going to take the property when this surviving borrower passes away, or if it's one borrower when they pass away. The bank will offer you an opportunity to refinance at the time of the surviving spouse passing away. And so not only was I trying to get the forged signatures addressed, but I called around and tried to see about refinancing the property. And that was the next big eye-opener, was I couldn't, because of the nature of the property. It's a 1973 mobile home with no permanent foundation. What that means is it was built prior to HUD's existence, and HECM is the organization that oversees reverse mortgages, and they have a requirement, if they're doing a reverse mortgage on a mobile home or a modular home, that it has to have been built after HUD, which is June of 1976, and it has to have a permanent foundation. In California, that's known as a 433A certificate, that you pulled permits and got a proper foundation before you put your mobile home on it. Neither of those exist. So according to the letter of the law in California, our mobile home on that property, while it's very nice and it's been very well taken care of, is chattel, or personal property is what it's known as, meaning it's unlendable. No one will finance it. No one will give you a loan against it. So their little option to refinance is basically an impossible option. It's not going to happen. It's for the same reason why the reverse mortgage shouldn't exist. Real quickly, I'll go into finding out, reading these loan documents. I didn't know all this stuff when this started. The only way I can fight this is to learn and, do the research and put all the pieces together. But upon reviewing the loan documents, how they got it through was they got an appraiser that was willing to go out there and call that property a single family residence, and put that appraisal on a 1004, which is a single family resident specific appraisal form. It inflated the value to almost double what the property's worth and mislabeled it as a single family residence and used comps for single family stick built homes, which it is not. So appraisal fraud is basically how they pulled this off, and there's so much more, but I think that's probably where I'm going to stop for today. I want to use the next video to go into all of the other little impossibilities about the loan that add up to all of the many reasons why this is a fraudulent reverse mortgage that was fraudulently given by the loan origination company. And what's very important for people to know is that now the company that owns the loan is foreclosing on it, and they've set a foreclosure date. And I have spent almost 12 months now sending them documentation, communicating with them, and trying to get them to do the right thing, and they won't. They are basically stating that there's no evidence that the mobile home is unattached, and they're proceeding with the foreclosure. So it was set for a foreclosure sale date of December 3rd. I did go to the sale to see if anybody bought it or if it was going to revert back to the bank, at which time I found out it was postponed. So there's a lot of issues with the property that will not allow it to be titled or the title transfer clean. We'll get into those even later. But they do some protections for people if you go to a foreclosure auction when you buy a property, where right before the sale, I mean down to the wire, they will do a pre-sale check to make sure that the title can be transferred cleanly to whoever bought it. And apparently it failed that, which of course it's going to. So hopefully that's what's going to hold it up for the time being. The new foreclosure sale date is January 7th. So yeah, that's coming right up. So I've essentially got 30 days to do the next of whatever I'm going to do as self-represented in courts, and not just a probate case, but apparently in order to get this properly addressed, I have to file what's known as a quiet title. I'm waiting for a case number on that. So yeah, that's about all I can really say about it today. In the next video, I'll go into even more of the details of why the loan shouldn't exist and what makes it fraudulent, and just how gross this whole situation is. Because you'd think if somebody's going to give a fraudulent loan that somebody would do something about it, and I'll tell you that's not the case. And now the company that bought the fraudulent loan is now illegally foreclosing on the property. So it gets pretty interesting. So I appreciate any suggestions or comments or, any ideas about what can be done. But I do want you to know right now that there's a long list of federal and state authorities that I have emailed, phone called. I have spent a large amount of the last 2 years on the phone trying to get help with this. And I'll tell you right now, the term civil matter will make you roll your eyes and just want to go take a nap, because yeah, it's going to be a civil matter until it's not, in which case they might consider this a criminal matter. It's amazing to me because, fraud is criminal. Mortgage fraud is criminal. But it is what it is. So yeah, just letting you know, nobody out there is going to help you. You have to help yourself. You have to educate yourself. And if nothing comes out of this video, but somebody takes a few minutes to check on, an elder in their life and make sure that they're in good hands financially so that these things don't happen to them, then I did my part. Something that isn't talked about with these reverse mortgages is what happens to the beneficiaries. Here I am trying to make it right, because that property was my dad's castle. He lived there 50 years. He bought it as raw land. He built everything on there with his bare hands, and it was always supposed to be mine. Which, okay, besides the point. The point is, he was taken advantage and stolen from, and I don't really want to go too deep into it, but if they really did get a reverse mortgage and they had all that money, my dad would not have been wearing ratty old polyester Wranglers when he passed away. He would have had new pants. Let's just say that. So we'll leave that there. Anyway, I hope you have a blessed rest of your day, and thank you for listening. If you got this far, 10 minutes, pretty good watch. But yeah, please feel free, leave a comment, hit a like, share it, please share it. One of the best things that could come of this is that this gets in front of the right pair of eyeballs and the right agencies, and maybe someone will actually come and help me. In the meantime, you know, all the support I get from my friends and people that know what I'm going through, I appreciate you guys very much. It's so hard to not want to just give up, but I can't. I really can't. So we're just gonna keep going and see how this plays out, and I will make sure that it gets documented and people are aware. So thank you. Have a great day.